Episode 2, Making Acquaintances. The rhythmic sound of the waves and the occasional cries of the seagulls drifted in through the open window. On the desk, the laptop was turned on. The house was quiet. It seemed that everyone was still asleep. But Jane was already up. She walked through the room illuminated by the morning sun, trying to find at least something in the chaos of her thoughts. Some wild idea that could help her start an epic novel that would make her name famous. Well, maybe not epic, but just a good one. And maybe not too famous, but at least well known in some circles. Or even less than that. She was willing to accept anything. Jane sighed wearily. Is this going to be another wasted morning? She sat on the edge of the bed, tousling her hair. I need to stop fighting with myself and just start. Just start. She glanced at the laptop screen where a text file was open. Damn. She exhaled loudly and looked at the ceiling. She needed something to move forward. I'm feeling so uninspired. Gosh, I'm missing her so much right now. Jane grabbed her purse where she knew a photograph lay in the inside pocket. Take out the photo, why not? Family photo. 3 people. On the left, a tall, beautiful woman. Statuesque, strong-willed, genuinely smiling, warming her with her light and cheer. The woman is holding the hand of a chubby, pouting little girl, her cheeks puffed in displeasure. Of course, that was the most disgusting cotton candy I'd ever tasted. On the right, a man in jeans, white sneakers, and a stylish linen shirt. His hand is resting on the girl's shoulder, but his face is not visible. A fragment of the photo is missing. It had been torn off by the same tall, beautiful woman who had lost her smile the day the man left his family. Jane closed her eyes. They seemed like a beautiful couple. It's a pity I don't remember it. She ran her finger over the photo, smoothing and wiping away non-existent dust. How she wished, to the point of a lump in her throat, that her mother would bring her a cup of that silly herbal tea and give her some advice. But instead of her voice, there was only the sound of the waves and the occasional cries of the seagulls. And suddenly someone's grumbling, either annoyed or frustrated by something. The woman put the photo away and listened. It's coming from the corridor. Someone outside, maybe? Curious, she stepped out onto the balcony. Not far away, on another balcony, Thomas was sitting. Stroking his wide chin with one hand, he was intently looking at a few white sheets of paper scattered across the table. Anything is better than working. Observe him. She quietly leaned against the railing. The man quickly jotted something down. Then, taking the sheet, he leaned back in his chair and reread what he had just written. He frowned in disappointment, rubbing his temple, and muttered something again. After a second, he felt her gaze and turned around. Jane, hi. Hi. How long have you been there? Oh, I just stepped out. Did I interrupt you? No, nothing to interrupt. I can't do much anyway. Jane hazarded a guess. A report? A letter. I haven't written anything like this since my school assignments, and now I need to. Thomas propped his chin on his fist. You look like Rodin's thinker. The man joked. Am I that handsome? Did I say I liked the sculpture? Something tells me you have a good taste. Why? Not many people can just name sculptures off the top of their heads. Are you into art? As a writer, I ought to be into a lot of things, or at least a little of everything, to know what I'm writing about.
And you also need to find the right words. How do you manage that?
If a ceremonial dance with a tambourine doesn't help, she dramatically sighed, I have to resort to human sacrifices. He laughed.
Are there any other options that won't land me in jail?
She replied more seriously. I think both are a good option, but I'll make a plan. I highlight the main points of what I want to say. I figure out what must follow what and what can't be missed. And then I write based on that.
I should try that.
May I ask who the letter is for, or is that a secret? His smile didn't leave his face, although she could tell that it had become strained.
It's not a secret, but I don't want to ruin a lovely woman's morning with my problems.
He changed the subject.
Have you been here before?
I haven't.
I was thinking of taking a walk this evening to check out the beach, see what else is nearby. Fancy joining me?
I'd love to see the bay. The walks and picturesque landscapes are some of the reasons I'm here.
I'll see you this evening, then.
See you this evening. Maybe talking to him will inspire a scene for my novel. She returned to her laptop. Worst case scenario, I'll just waste a little more time. The short, light conversation had distracted her a bit, allowing her to break free from her creative struggles. Her attempt to be productive didn't last long. In the open space kitchen, which was right by a spacious dining room, Jeanne was already buzzing about. The plates are set, the cutlery laid out. She stepped in the living room and approached the stairs leading up and called out loudly, "The Waves Cradle invites its guests to breakfast." Once back in the kitchen, she rushed to the oven as if suddenly remembering something. "The casserole!" Glancing at the dish through the glass door, the woman exhaled in relief. "Oh, just one more minute and it should be ready. Good morning." Very pretty. Good morning. The dining room and the kitchen are very cozy. Why did we have dinner in the living room and not here yesterday? I thought it was more appropriate to eat there and to play board games here. Oh, but the casserole. Without looking, she grabbed a hand towel from the table and immediately jumped when a bag of rice, which had been resting on it, fell to the floor with a full dud. The grains scattered in all directions. She threw up her hands. "Let me help you. Where's your broom and dustpan? Or maybe a vacuum?" No, just leave it." She took out the casserole and turned off the oven, adding, "You can't clean up right away." "Why not?" "The spirits want to eat too." Interesting. The woman's stunned face made her burst into laughter. "My aunt always said that. Spilled rice is a symbol of the circle of life." "In what sense?" "By spilling rice, you become a sower. Then you wait for the right moment to harvest. And then it all starts over. You spill it, meaning you sow the rice again." "Right on target." "And it will just lie there until it sprouts?" "Not for that long. The grown rice is for the people, while the sown rice is for the spirits. They'll have some and they'll clean it up." Superstitions and omens are interesting. I must admit I'm a skeptic. That's a strange custom. You know what? With this one, I'll go our interesting. Romantic, too. I think many people in the world lack some mystery and intrigue in their lives. It's boring when lightning isn't the will of God, but just a plain electric discharge. But then it's less scary like that.
Something smells delicious.
Jane looked at the man who appeared in the doorway.
Thomas smiled at her and greeted Jan. Good morning.
Hi.
The man glanced at the casserole.
How early did you get up to prepare all this? It's not all that much. I just like cooking more than I do sleeping. Please, take a seat. Lee said, oh, well, there she is. Hello, everyone. You're just in time.
The wooden chairs scraped against the floor, and the clink of shiny cutlery followed. By the way, I went and checked her name. Her name, in pronounced, is Jean in English.
I'm sorry I didn't ask about your food preferences yesterday, so I made a variety of dishes. If anyone doesn't eat meat, there's conscious. That looks amazing. I can't wait to dig in. Casserole with sausages. Wow. That actually does look good. I'm hungry. I haven't ate all day. Leave me alone. The hot, slightly spicy casserole melted in her mouth, pleasantly tickling her palate. Jean, this is absolutely delicious. Thank you. It's my aunt's recipe. She glanced at the empty chair. By the way, have you seen Michael? He hasn't come down yet. I haven't seen him, but I heard him moving in his room. Thomas, having tried a bit of all three dishes, shook his head. A wonderful dinner yesterday, and now such a breakfast. Jean, thank you. In the army, you never get such delicious food 2 days in a row. Are you in the military? Yes. Tasting the salad, Lee nodded. Oh, I agree. It's very good. All I can cook is toast. They chatted a bit, but no one lingered after breakfast. It seemed everyone had things to do. Having finished, thanking Jean, Jane headed back to her room. Already at her door, the woman heard a voice around the corner of the corridor. No, Bob. Everything was going according to plan, of course. Then say it. That's what I'm paying you for. Jane's hand froze on the doorknob. Someone has upset Michael. Wonder who this Bob is. She kept listening. Don't tell me to calm down. That doesn't help. I could lose the business I've dedicated my life to, and I certainly don't want to end up in jail. How else am I supposed to react? What? Jail? No, not yet. Yes, I'll go. Today. Tomorrow. I don't know. He sighed heavily. It's hard to get back to work. He replied again with irritation. The main thing is to make sure you can handle it. All right, I'll be in touch. Bye. The man appeared around the corner, putting his phone away and muttering under his breath. As Jane opened her room, Michael nodded at her. Good morning. Good morning. She didn't ask anything. Breakfast is waiting for you downstairs. Jane. Jean's at the table. She was asking about you. The coffee might still be hot. Thank you. Have a nice day. He headed for the stairs and the woman entered her room. Jail, and we're in the same guest house. Isn't that great? Well, I guess he's not a gangster. Calming herself, she returned to her work. The number at the bottom of the screen indicated the page count, and her document began to grow slowly. It seemed that some interesting images were starting to emerge from the fog of her chaotic thoughts. Engrossed in her work, she missed lunch. Then, as she finally took a break, she peeked into the kitchen. Jean kindly offered her sandwiches. Jane didn't hurry back to her room. She was already organizing her ideas. Next, she needed to understand and feel what to write. Jane? Lee appeared in the living room. Yes? I'm going for a swim. Jean says the water is nice. I won't go far, just here, by the guest house. Do you want to join me while the sun is still high? Jane took a moment to listen to herself. In any case, I won't be getting back to the laptop right now. She nodded. Yes, I just need to change. She took out her beach bag where her towel and swimsuits were. There's sunscreen, too, somewhere. We have 1 piece, 2-piece, bikini, monokini. I'm sorry, a what now? I know, but, buy all. 1 piece, 2-piece. The other, I don't know. Monokini's interesting. It's like a 1 piece, but on one side. It's weird. It's interesting, but weird. I think I'm gonna stick with the 1 piece. The 1 piece actually looks fine. Maybe I should wear something else? Nope, keep this one. Lee hadn't left yet and was waiting for Jane. Ready? Oh, I like her outfit. Yes. You look great. A compliment for 8 diamonds. Come on. Thank you. Your swimsuit is beautiful. Shall we? Yeah, they added the green thing on the bottom. It is actually kind of nicer. Uh-huh. Oh, what happened to the beach since we were last here? What the hell? The downpour the previous night had left the beach looking different. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. It was cozier here yesterday. There was a real storm last night. From the guest house, everything seemed less serious. Yeah. They navigated around the fallen branches and stepped onto the clean sand, heading towards a built-in metal umbrella. Lee took a large towel out of her bag. Nevertheless, it's still beautiful here. I agree. And very peaceful. Quite secluded. This area is the best. That was one of the reasons I chose to stay here instead of the city. Jane placed her bag on the towel. Do you enjoy solitude? Not so much. She looked away, or perhaps was simply gazing at the horizon. But it turns out it's not unwelcome right now. It happens. I was specifically looking for a quiet place. She took off her shoes and then hesitated a bit, and she asked, Do you know if there are any orphanages in Louisiana? Interesting question. Sorry, I know that's quite an abrupt question. I just couldn't find any information about it. Where I come from, there are such institutions, but in America? If you're talking about a separate building, like a residential institution, then we don't have that kind of thing here. A child is usually temporarily taken in by a foster family, cared for until they find an adoptive family. And what if the child isn't that young? Say a teenager? Literally the same concept. I don't know, but I suppose the system works the same for anyone who is under 18. Jane looked at Lee. Do you need help with your search? No, sorry. Don't pay me any mind. As you wish. For some reason, Jane suddenly thought back to Thomas.
lost in thought in front of his letter, and to gloomy Michael.
Let's swim.
The sea turned out to be colder than Jane had expected, but after the beating hot sun, it was not unpleasant. She swam for a bit, trying to think about her novel. Staying in the water, she just closed her eyes and listened to the lapping of the waves. They gently nudged her thigh, rustling the sand. In other writers' books, authors regularly found inspiration in places like this. That's why her editor had recommended this trip. But the sea, sun, and beach didn't inspire her to go back to work. Instead, they relaxed her, and for that she was grateful. She even managed to distract herself from the second, less pleasant reason she had for coming here. The water's a little too fast-paced.
Would you like some homemade lemonade?
Please. Jane opened her eyes. Jean was holding 2 frosted glasses.
It's hot. I thought you might like something to drink. Awesome.
Lee stepped onto the shore after Jane, taking the lemonade. She took a sip and looked back at the bay. In the distance, at a low altitude, a plane flew by. Like I said, her swimsuit is actually really pretty.
The Prince of the Skies.
What?
The plane. It's a very reliable model.
She looked at the departing giant with some reverence.
I've always dreamed of flying one of those. Not as a passenger, I take it.
Lee nodded.
I'm no ordinary passenger.
Jane couldn't help but notice how her eyes lit up. Calm, even a bit introverted, she transformed almost instantly as soon as the conversation turned to the sky.
Let me guess.
She looked her up and down.
Are you a flight attendant? I was for a while. I've been drawn to the sky since my childhood, so that profession was a logical choice. But there's one part of the job that I don't like.
And what is that?
You have to deal with a lot of people.
Lee looked at Jean.
Sorry.
So, did you quit?
I decided to train to become a pilot instead.
That's cool.
My parents helped. They had some influence in that field.
Still, you are the one who had to work for it.
Yeah, well, yes. I took classes. During the training flights, I fell even more in love with the sky. And then I got a job as a pilot for a company.
Do you fly big planes? Jane nodded towards the plane that had already vanished on the horizon. Like the prince?
No, much smaller.
I guess you've been all over the place?
Working as a flight attendant, yes. Now, I don't fly that far.
Seemed like she wanted to say something else, but she fell silent, without noticing that Jean quietly said,
Well, that's great. It must be very interesting. Me, I can't get away from here.
Sighing, Jean explained,
The wave's cradle won't let me leave. Having a little guest house on the coast is a dream for many.
Yes, of course. It's just that I'm here alone now, and I'm afraid I'll end up staying in one place forever. Is this a family-owned business?
Yes, but my aunt used to run it.
Have you thought about selling it?
Selling it? No. Not for anything.
One doesn't have to necessarily follow in the family footsteps. You could move to a big city. And if you sell it for a good price, you could even travel somewhere and start a business of your own.
It's all very complicated, Jane.
Jean looked at the wave's cradle. The very thought of selling it felt to her like a betrayal, something impossible, forbidden. Besides, I'm not sure I could do anything else.
Sorry, I didn't mean to give you unwanted advice. Oh, that's fine. I'll go get dinner started. Shall I take your glasses? Thank you.
Jean glanced at the two women, smiling.
This is why I love the Waves Cradle.
Lee didn't understand.
Because of dinner? Because of the interesting guests. A pilot, a rider, a soldier.
And the shady guy?
Every season becomes special. By the way, does anyone know what Michael does for a living? No. Jane?
He hasn't told me, but we've barely spoken.
All right, well, see you in the dining room.
Your dinner isn't something I would miss, even though you missed lunch. Jean headed towards the house, and Lee looked at Jane.
By the way, I wanted to thank you again for your help yesterday.
Oh, it's nothing.
That rain, I could have walked right past the house.
Well, if it starts again, you know who to call.
All right. Do you like sunbathing?
I'll go swimming first. After her dip in the sea, Jane took a shower. Outfit? No, hair. It's hair change time, I guess. Bangs ash, blonde, chestnut. Why do you keep wanting to change my hair? And it's getting longer, by the way. So it's black by default for the free. I'm gonna go that, and I'm gonna get my hair back. Not even kidding. Got my hair back. She stepped out onto the balcony to enjoy the soft evening sun. There were still a few hours remaining until sunset, but the heat had already subsided. From the terrace below, the breeze carried the aroma of grilled vegetables and meat. Ooh, pretty. Jean was preparing to pleasantly surprise her guests once again. Suddenly, Thomas appeared next to the owner of the Waves Cradle. Nice new outfit. Not wearing black. It suits him. She glanced at her watch. We'll probably go for a walk right after the meal, so... Jane approached the wardrobe to choose something suitable. I wonder how Thomas is doing with his letter. Alright, next up is linen shirt and shorts, summer dress, blouse and skirt, skirt and top, buy all. That looks alright. Summer dress is very vibrant colors, but I'm gonna go with linen shirt and shorts, since apparently the outfits don't give you points or not, so I'm fine with that. Keep this one. No makeup. Everyday makeup. Wait, hold on. Is there supposed to be a difference between these two? I swear to God, I swear either I'm blind or there's no difference. I'm just saying, maybe it's just this particular model. Next up is cat eyes. Okay, so the blush above her eyes changes. That's about it. I'm gonna go with no makeup because she's already pretty as is. Just saying. All the guests arrived for dinner on time. Even Michael was back from the city, where he had spent the whole day. The trip had clearly lifted the man's spirits. He hadn't become friendly, but at least he was no longer grumbling about the number of guests. Jean risked asking, "So, how was it, Michael? Did you enjoy yourself?" Yes, it's very beautiful everywhere. And the city is full of history. Next to new buildings, there are houses that are 200 years old all over the place. True. Vegetables? No, thank you. He took the plate, and I could hear jazz playing everywhere. I stopped for lunch at some hole in the wall that looked unremarkable from the outside, but inside there was a stage, can you imagine? And a quartet of old-timers was playing. That sounds fun. Do you like jazz? I'm not a fan.
but they played well. Such lively old guys. The vegetables and meat were so popular, Jean had to return to the grill occasionally to prepare new batches. Lee was listening to Michael with interest, but Thomas only did so out of courtesy. He waited for an opportune moment and then rose from the table and approached Jean. "Do you need help?" "From you? Wearing that shirt? Oh, thanks for the offer, but if something spills on it, I'll have to buy you a new one." She carried another serving plate to the table. "Thomas, did you happen to notice if she added something special to the food? Some secret ingredient? Otherwise, I don't understand how everything she cooks is so delicious."
"I actually did."
"Thomas!" "So, what is it?"
He winked playfully. Her unwavering good mood, smile, of course.
"I don't know what the secret may be, but Jean is second to none. The steak at the hole in the wall seemed decent, but compared to this..." "The veggies are great as well." "Thank you. I'm incredibly flattered. And since we mentioned it, this evening needs a little music. What do you think?" She turned on the radio, and an energetic jazz tune filled the room. "Jane?" "Yes?" "Could I have read something of yours?" "I don't have any published novels yet. The ones I'm currently working on are supposed to be my debut."
"Oh, well, good luck with that."
"Thank you. You might have seen something online, though. Jane Dawson." "I don't think I have, but I'll remember. I should definitely look it up."
The music on the radio changed, and Lee asked to turn it up.
"Does anyone mind?"
Nobody objected. Pushing his plate aside, Thomas smiled. "Jean, thank you."
Then the man looked at Jane.
"It's getting loud in here. How about we take in the sea?"
"Let's go."
The debris is gone. The sky seemed to burn with orange and purple flames, reflected in the water of the Gulf and setting it ablaze. Thomas took off his shoes and walked on the cooling sand. "Care to join me?"
"Sure."
Thomas offered his hand for balance as she took off her sneakers. The grains of sand pleasantly tickled her toes. I can't remember the last time I walked barefoot on the beach like this. Or, actually, no, I do. 7 years old. We were deployed to Africa.
"Thomas, why did you decide to become a soldier?"
I've dreamed of it since I was a kid. I followed in my father's footsteps. He was often away on tours of duty. I helped my mother with small electronics home appliance store. It just so happened that I had two professions to build, a military career and a sales position.
Do you ever regret choosing the first option?
No. When you're a hair's breadth from death, you start to truly appreciate life.
Amen to that. What brought you to Louisiana?
Definitely not jazz. There's a bit too much of it here for me.
But isn't a vacation? This isn't a vacation for you, isn't it?
He kept his gaze on the sea. I'm here to fulfill the last wishes of a friend who passed away.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Thomas, how's your letter coming along? Did you manage to find the right words?
He nodded, smiling. It seems so. Your advice helped.
Glad to hear it.
Don't you want to take a look at it?
Would you allow me to?
No.
Well, that's what I thought. They fell silent and turned to look at the calm waters of the bay at the same time.
The sun that warmed them had already set, and the cool breeze blowing from the shore made the woman shiver. Are you cold?
A little.
I should have brought a jacket. Next time, I promise to do better.
I mean,
I'll hold you to that. I'll dress warmer. Stay silent. I'll just go with I'll dress warmer? Question mark? I brought a light sweater with me. I was wondering whether to bring it out or not, but turns out it'll come in handy. After watching the sea for a little while, they headed back to the wave's cradle. And you? Did you come here to write? Mostly. A phone number written on a scrap of paper. For some unknown reason, Jane hadn't saved it in her phone. Or rather, she knew the reason, but she didn't want to acknowledge it in her thoughts or out loud. Her finger dialed the number, and then hovered for a moment over the call button. It's just a call. Just a call. The first ring. When someone on the other end answered, Jane tightened her grip on the pencil. Watchword Group, Mr. Dawson's office. How can I help you? Hello. Could you please put me through to Mr. Dawson? He's currently in a meeting. Can I pass on a message? Yes, please. Tell him that Jane called Jane Dawson. If you'd like, you can give the development. Okay, hold on. Alright. On this episode, I will give you... I'll give you 5 stars. Why not? Complete the episode. Let's see our stats. Alright, so we got 2 logic, 1 emotion, 0 to achiever, observer. Oh look, diamonds. Alright, so it looks like there is an episode 3, so we'll get to that ASAP. But other than that, thank you all for watching. Please make sure that if you did enjoy, to at least like the video. You can also consider sharing the content, sharing this video, as well as making sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know your thoughts down below. Other than that, like I said, so far I'm enjoying it. It's an interesting story that we're basically going to get to see our perspective of 5 different characters and our own. When you really think about it, we've got a little bit of mystery and intrigue with our main character, but we'll get to develop the other stories as they go. So, aside from that, let me know your thoughts. Catch you all later. Peace out.